Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Price. Welcome to the October Energies. And of course, I am really excited about the energies that I'm seeing because I'm sharing a progression of topics that support building your creative harmonic, which is the overall energy this year. And this is a time of a lot of chaos on the world stage. And that actually just means a lot of change. And yet, your inner work is to hold that higher creative harmonic so that these natural changes progress through your valuable focus and your beingness, which was the July energies. And it's not even that you must create all of those potentials. Your work is to be that resonance so that the subtle information can sustain here in the field of Earth. And strongly since July, I've been seeing and feeling a new connection that's forming with a higher collective potential. So let's just dive right into the October energies and even the energies of this quarter that I'm shown, because all of that applies here. So, to support holding your creative harmonic, the October energies are the connected self. And this was an interesting Ariane channeling because they approached it from quite a few different directions. They've been deeply focused on the blending of the human or the part of you that experiences separation and the higher self, the nonlinear aspect of you that experiences unity, experiences connection, the opposite of separation. And where you're feeling separated within, that's where you're not empowered. But when you can bridge that experience with self-love and inner power, which we worked on a lot in the first half of the year, that's when you are the connected self. That's when you're able to observe your physical experience of separation, but you're doing that through the lens of connection, having a lot of detached compassion for yourself and then for everyone, for all of life, because you begin seeing that everywhere. You're seeing through that lens of love. And the channeling was focusing us into our instinct of connection and becoming the higher level of recognizing, well, essentially recognizing our creative harmonic, but recognizing the impact of your direct connections and even your indirect connections, things that you just become aware of or hear about, or that you're praying for, but that you're not actually directly connected to them. That when you honor both, you're honoring the connected self. So go deeper into the potentials of how you, as a beloved and sacred creative vessel of life, are impacting your own experience and the experience of life in your present moment, and therefore the future, because all of those are connected. And this is why when the loving ones are boldly living their lives, the world truly changes, which Ariane has been focusing on for many years, now more than ever. More love, more empowerment, more of your creativity, and then receiving that support within the field of information that we're all immersed within. That's your creative harmonic. When you're getting your loving information into that field of information, that's more available for all of life. And then that keeps building. And as usual, we keep building on the topics each month. So especially since July, your beingness, so important. It's the mechanism of coherence because it's a synonym of peace, openness, empowerment, your strength, that knowing that all is well and it's changing. And when you initiate conscious choice, which was August's focus, from that vibration of beingness, you're initiating change as a blended being, human and higher self, in a state of greater consciousness and coherence, bringing that energy here to the earth plane. And then that dance of balance, which we focused on in September, is the journey of creation's movement, a constant here. You are the journey of creation's movement. How sacred is that? And can you observe that through the connected self, seeing the impact that you have on life and that life has on you? And this is a much deeper lesson than it can seem, because we can't just rely on the feedback all of the time. We have to sustain it, because we are pushing through a time frame that is about letting go of the disempowerment narratives that have pulled too much focus into the external. The connected self is balanced with their internal perspective being most important, because that's where your sovereignty truly resides. It's where you're changing that malleable, subtle information using your subtle bridge, your thoughts, emotions, and intentions, so that the future is more aligned with your powerful love. And then, of course, your actions in the external are aligned with that as well. They're more inspired. They're more creative, less reactive, like we discussed in the last September video. How do you maintain that connected self through those times of change? Well, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So in the Lyran Perspective channeling, Ariane was reiterating, observe. What are you noticing, especially within? Let your authentic thoughts and emotions arise so that they come into your awareness. That's when the unconscious meets the conscious and change begins, that first pillar of ascension. That observing with detached compassion and really nurturing yourself through that is so important. And they also talked a lot about slowing down, giving yourself breaks where you're not focused on something else, you're not distracted with a phone, you're just letting yourself pause, breathe, daydream, meditate, relaxing more. This supports neutralizing whatever you're observing, helps get you into that state of beingness. And you may need to take some additional steps with some of those bigger issues, but your neutrality is imperative so that you aren't polarizing and separating unconsciously, so that you're embracing change. Then your interactions with life are stemming from the connected self. And you may not feel it every moment, but the energies are building into more support for our inner empowerment and our creative harmonic. That's why that connected self is so important, so that you're able to interact with everything that's going on around you and still maintain that connection. And in the subscription program this month, I'm actually going to be focusing on building that comfortable strength that is needed to continue supporting that connection. But it becomes natural as you're connected. Just like when you strengthen a muscle, then lifting things becomes easier. And something that was heavy before is no longer heavy because you have this new comfortable strength. So you can visit my website, jamieprice.com, for more information about all of those classes this month. And I do want to give you a brief overview of the energies of this final quarter of the year. And there is a card reading video that I'll put a link to in the video below, in the description, so that when that becomes available, you're aware of that. But the energies this quarter are collective in nature. And this is an important part of preparing us for holding that creative harmonic with the foundation of your strength that understands your value, the value of yourself, your unique, separate you, as well as the collective that you are part of. This is the core of getting your energy into this world. And this is actually the only thing that breaks down those disempowerment narratives, all the change that's coming up right now. It is for us to refocus, the loving ones boldly living their lives and consciously choosing those higher potentials so that the collective is affected by that and benefiting by that, because that information becomes more available in the field. And of course, that is you living your life with more joy, more connection, more of your beingness, enjoying that journey along the way, and putting those potentials into the field that we're all immersed within. And we know that that's possible here on Earth, but it's just not as predominant yet. And the light language transmission is a really nice support for this. It was actually such a powerful flow that it was a little hard to breathe. My heart was beating so fast, and yet it also felt so loving and supportive. There was a lot of heart and mind connection. I was feeling a lot of expansion in the lower chakras, especially the second chakra, which of course makes sense since that one really supports us to connect with others, to connect out to life. And what was so beautiful throughout the transmission was feeling such a strong and loving cosmic support. It was really palpable. A lot of beautiful divine feminine energy, but this really balanced divine masculine was there. It was so loving. So you may want to come back to that throughout the month when you want to feel that support, when you want to enliven your heart flow, and leave me a comment below about what you were experiencing. And of course, also hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the upcoming videos this month. I hope you have an amazing October and enjoy the light language.
Memear nana aro at satsam. Mna hermene dier urut ukrorum. Nem storet at sekrorut na ni rot o korat henne hitsem kora a al. Nan steirumatsum jamok anadat il nehet urubtsem. Ner diktierut o kua kam charakrat and the krailal him torut. Mna otsokroret derut so oa. Wanot und brer krail hernand satchorum. Mna rot o korat. Kam bratni rit satchar koa me he orotorum ma ukwa ka udat unosa. Mem sayanoshto ut ua a koa ma tar inda ko ha simet shorat anet atsuk orat end dam onoratet rodat el mnjad ukom marot anat sam cherakrerat and kal rene he sud shamo ramdat knandat irut kanam had ror kal rene hatsum ma ut no credit endet and such irat kandat iratan na totsum ma horem ap anj arkrorat tan neror ma urutsum korat ka ua nin chaura sam shor akrol hrenet arod ma kam krorat tener it sacherot orat kal rnana hinemo orat parut okwam ma sum Jananda kairut ur itsel rni hitiet nen bar dan krayat at such mnea. Kandat nam such andat il nerut nun sukurum bat shur na hratandat im. Pralerna andat im. Kam ugrot nan such o chair urt urikt in et erum ba urit tal renat siet Demea kamu remder. Sano remder. Him. Tamor and that yet ut sokrel. Chanandat shairud prar harndat eet urumet urepsel reniende chukrorum emchoret. Tanet eer akkureert andat elhne baurat an. handi creëert hade atsuch mne creëert andat hana ma brenna nem orbshan jan krorel renendet hindi creëert op our hni etsut tenerat Tamo shayama dandat naad soa. Hanno ramdat radet soch o korend. Kal renanat im surum jer urenet uretel rena krad arur bran nem mnerut ruret ed. Tender kan hanand. Wan soch charur huam. Tano rentiet brukroret el rundun shum mnembok rotad nen satchaur antadak riel arna bradat an suchumnand in nem ormdat aur ankai ukwarand kal renandat imsok pandat nenda wa kwam sum chanda